This year, my urine fertilization experiment is again in the garden, and again looking at the kind of ratio of urine to water that works well for applying this fertilization, and again working on oats. But there is some difference in that I'm not keeping the total volume constant. Instead, I'm keeping the volume of urine constant. Like the amount of fertilizer is constant, it's just how much does it need to be diluted, or how much dilution is the best for it. It's June 7th today, and I planted these oats a little over a week ago, and they've just kind of started to sprout. And this is the first watering I've done of them with the fertilization, or first fertilization. I watered them as they planted, and we've got a decent amount of rain in that time too. So it's this spot over here, which I'd just done, I'm doing a ratio of 1/4, or basically 3 parts water to 1 part urine. This one right here, I'm doing 1/8, which is 7 parts water to 1 part urine. And this one over here, I'll be doing at 1/12, which is 11 parts water to 1 part urine. There are also some clover in this year, just because they were there, and didn't want to rip it up, given that they're more valuable as cover crop as oats. Plus we've got one potato plant, a potato that wasn't harvested, given that this bed had potatoes in it last year. But I don't think those will massively affect the results of this experiment, and I'll even get to see how that works on clover. But given that I'm using 3 cups as the amount of urine I'm putting on each of these approximately 20 square foot beds, and this only holds 2 gallons, 32 cups, I have to add a little bit for this this 1 and 11, because 3 times 12 is 36, so it's just a little bit extra. That first bit gets slightly higher, but then it gets all washed out. And I'm not worried about the different volumes of water, because I've done a number of experiments that I think have shown the amount of water doesn't really, like just watering in this environment, this climate of pretty wet kind of general, doesn't really change how things grow. So looking at my urine fertilization of this grass, which it's July 12th today, and the last time I put any urine on it was 2 weeks ago. Been away some, and I wouldn't say I've done a ton of fertilizing. It's probably averaged out to once a week, maybe a little bit more than that, of those 3 cups diluted at different amounts. And what I'm seeing here is both the relatively, like the 1/4 urine, and the 1/8 urine look pretty similar. There's maybe a little bit more in the 1/8 urine, but that's just hard to tell with the variation in them. So maybe 1/8 is a little bit better, but go over to the 1/12, it's substantially less. I didn't notice this 2 weeks ago when I looked at it, and I'm a little bit confused, because I don't know, I guess if anything, I was expecting it to be less, as in over, like too high of a concentration over there, but that's why you do experiments. There looks like there's maybe something else going on, so I'm not going to conclusively say this, but it doesn't seem like that 1/12 is getting the same level of fertilization as the other amounts. with only 5 applications of urine this year compared to 8 last year, with a similar end date, though longer time last year, I'm not sure I really applied enough into this to show enough difference before these oats got to the point where I needed to cut them down. Though most of the reason I didn't apply more urine was due to, well, being busy with other stuff. Some of it was I am getting less motivation for this because these oats aren't like a crop that we're eating, a production crop for us. They're just cover crop. So I think I'd really like to move into more of the production crops, and I hope that can bring some of my motivation to do a high quality and hopefully noticeable experiment. But I also am just very concerned about not overdoing it when I get to production crops. So it may be several times of trying stuff and, yeah, eventually getting to a point where I feel comfortable and I'm seeing a difference.